We've been driving around, and some parts of Rochester look like a pure ghost town, and it makes sense. -3 degrees, it feels like -20 out here. I just watched my phone battery go from 100% to 60% in just 10 minutes. There are fire trucks and rescue trucks everywhere across this parking lot. Police tell us that a man got stuck in the snow and eventually a swamp when he just went for a simple walk with his dog.
Hi there, Rachel and Ashley. So, it may be snowy outside, but at the Rochester Riverside Convention Center, all thoughts are on summer. Check out all of these boats. But again, that man is safe. He was flying from Canandaigua, and just this soft snow and changing weather conditions ended up causing this accident. She's heading to the United Nations headquarters to show others how to fight it too. Well, so far he's been suspended from school, and he could face up to a year of expulsion depending on what the school determines. There's also been a lot of backlash against his family, and I'll have more on that story tonight at 11.
Something Jocelyn says is a big credit to China's work.
That work will impact way beyond her own school.
We drove from Mario's near 590 to Wegmans, a short stretch that includes 2 traffic lights.
About 3 minutes and 20 seconds, and some people say with a Whole Foods, it'll take even longer.
When city leaders canceled a rally here at the Liberty Pole after the decision in the Michael Brown case, the leaders of Black stepped up and took over.
We didn't do it. I want to apologize for all the negative media that's being spread about Athena and the students that go there.
Because I just wanted his side of the story to be told, and I just worried that did I make this worse for him?
Regrets all around as the boy charged with bullying a classmate with special needs now faces criminal charges.
I was flabbergasted.
Late this morning, Fernandez and her son were called to the Greece Police Department. This afternoon, all 3 teens involved were charged with endangering the welfare of a child. But only Fernandez's son is charged with possession of obscene sexual performance of a child. Now, for the first time, he explains what he was thinking when he pressed record.
The things that he said, you don't really normally see that on a daily basis. So a lot of it was kind of funny to us at the time. But now we know that was wrong.
The 15-year-old says recording his classmate drinking from a toilet seemed funny at the time, but he insists the boy offered to do it for laughs.
I can understand why they're angry because they didn't hear the whole story.
With the family facing threats of violence via social media and criminal charges being handed down, Fernandez says she will hire an attorney for her son. A judge will determine whether the facts of the case call for more than school suspension.
Teens are immature, so they don't really get some of the stuff that adults do.
Mark Landers left the hospital 3 months after the day that would change his life forever.
They say I was rubbing my chest and rubbing my leg, and I didn't know. They thought I was having a heart attack because I was in perfect health.
It was a tear in his heart valve, an aortic dissection. All of his right leg and part of his hip had to be amputated. He was told he'd never walk again.
The nerves had died. They just didn't think it was a possibility.
Or so they thought.
So scoot forward in the chair a little bit. You ready? Got yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. Mentally, your brain needs to tell you to take that first step in order to walk again.
But the body needs a boost, and Mark is getting it from a new technology created right in our backyard. It's called SafeGate. Mark was one of the first to use it here at Nazareth College.
Using this system, we were able to do things we never did before, like get rid of both crutches, barely holding onto my hands.
SafeGate is a ceiling-mounted racetrack which attaches to a body harness to hold Mark up. It lets him move 360 degrees, and therapists can adjust the level of support.
I didn't have to worry about crushing the PT or falling and hurting myself and going back into the hospital.
But this breakthrough didn't come from a medical research lab. It came from Gorbel Inc., a local company that makes overhead cranes. After a Gorbel employee's daughter suffered a brain injury, she went to the company's CEO with an idea. The same technology they make to lift heavy equipment could be used to lift people in therapy.
It so aligns with what we can do from a technology standpoint, but it even better aligns with improving people's lives.
And it has for Mark.
To come as far as he's come is nothing short of a miracle.
Now his eyes are on the next big goal.
This is exciting, and we could have you stand up, we could walk out.
A first dance at his daughter's August wedding, and maybe even one more miracle.
My goal is to be able to walk down the aisle, walk her down the aisle and hand her to her new husband.
Anything's possible.
SafeGate has been tested at Nazareth College, Monroe Community Hospital, University of Rochester Medical Center, and other local hospitals. It makes its national debut next week. Natasha Alford.
This must become true. Your times will never get better until you make them better.
When people think of leadership in the African American community, they often look to the past. But a new generation has stepped up, and they're singing a different kind of song. Meet the young leaders of Rochester's movement for social and racial justice. They're artists, mothers, teachers, and they are black and proud.
I just felt like I needed to be there.
Tanya Stevens didn't hesitate to go to Ferguson, Missouri after the shooting of Michael Brown last August. A Rochester native and mother of 2 young boys, she says the incident touched her on a personal level.
You want to say hi?
Yeah. Hi.
There's so many similarities. We have police brutality here, but people turn a blind eye. Like, it happens, it's a flash story, and then people move on from it.
So Stevens came back to Rochester and joined a group of young leaders who'd recently formed the grassroots activist group BLACK, which stands for Building Leadership and Community Knowledge.
This is something we must take back.
The group uses Facebook and Twitter to share African American history, promote black-owned businesses in Rochester, and host educational events like this Angela Davis film screening.
With social media in particular, we are given the ability to tell our own stories.
When city leaders canceled a rally here at the Liberty Pole after the decision in the Michael Brown case, the leaders of BLACK stepped up and took over.
An estimated 500+ people showed up to the rally, organized largely online and through word of mouth.
The people united can never be divided.
Although civil rights organizing has roots in the black church, many new activists say their movement isn't based upon one religion.
This is a decentralized movement, so it's not based on one person, and that's because we are all different.
Reverend Lewis Stewart, a longtime civil rights activist and clergy member, says this city has been waiting for the new generation of leaders, but they can step up more.
People like to get on Facebook and talk about things, but you don't see them at meetings. You don't really see them contributing anything to the struggle for civil rights.
Stewart says his generation opened doors to young people.
No, I don't think the civil rights generation failed. I think the torch was passed, the torch was there, but nobody from the generation that was coming up was willing to reach out and take that torch.
So that's the biggest wall that we're up against, is getting people even out there, getting people active, getting people to realize that there's something wrong.
The leaders of BLACK say although their group was inspired to organize because of Michael Brown's death, its true focus going forward will be life.
What is the dream of this next generation of leadership?
It's for folks to, for every black and brown child to really walk with confidence and to really love themselves, and that they know that since they have that history behind them and, you know, the support around them, that they can do anything.
In Rochester, Natasha Alford, News 8.
Driving out here is pretty risky. I'd say it's so risky it's almost like throwing a second and goal from the 1-yard line during the Super Bowl. You might not want to do that. It would just hurt in the long run. Anyways, hoping you all have a safe commute on your way home. Reporting live in Rochester, Natasha Alford, News 8.
She's still on a Super Bowl high.
A zinger for Seahawks fans. Thanks, Natasha.